Are schools and universities really doing their job? Is there a need to reimagine our educational experience? Are our kids really being prepared for the future that we are foreseeing? Well, these are some of the thoughts we're going to explore in today's episode. Welcome to another episode of the Ecological Entrepreneurship Podcast. My name is Fayaz, and thanks for tuning in. And thank you also for sharing and subscribing and for your comments and appreciation. So, are schools and colleges and universities doing what they are supposed to do in today's context? In my imagination, be it a school, a college, or a university, they are supposed to be these experimental grounds which provide a safe environment for a student to try anything and everything that they want to and build their confidence and capacity and skills, knowledge, skills, and attitudes and habits to, achieve what they really want. So, but unfortunately, our educational experience, our schooling, or the college or university education still is trapped in its older design. It was started to serve this purpose of training manpower for factories. So you had to regiment people, you had to kill creativity, you had to discard actually creativity, and you had to make people follow the authority, and then limit their imagination and make them into these mechanical beings. Anyway, a lot of the literature is already available about all of this, and I don't want to spend a lot of time there, but I wanted to bring our focus to the present day experience of our schools, colleges, and universities. So, as I was saying, unfortunately, the system is still trapped in that design, and we need to free it from that design, and it needs a complete overhaul, a complete reimagination of how it should be, helping us now. So, as I was saying, the schools need to, be this free-flowing, safe environment for students to test and try their ideas and build confidence and all the related skills. So, if you wanted to develop expertise in any kind of a subject, on an average, it will take you 10 years. If you wanted to become an expert on anything, any trade, any subject, it will take you between, anywhere between 5 to 10 years to become an expert on something. So, we spend on an average, more than 20 years in this so-called schooling, college, and educational experience, and a lot of the students who come out of the university end up asking this question: what do I do now? And this is such an ironic situation that you have spent 20 or more years getting educated, and then at the end of those 20 years or more, you are saying, what do I do now? And whereas that should have been the first question that this schooling or educational experience should have helped you, deal with. But unfortunately, this is what is happening. And I think, for example, finances or financial literacy is a lot of us are struggling with. And it's such an essential component of modern day life that you have to have the financial confidence to be able to do anything else in life. It starts from there, unfortunately, in today's context, and that is absolutely missing from the curriculum in our schools, colleges, and universities. No, we are not given any financial literacy, although the whole model is based on finances. You have to pay fee to get admission in a school, and then all of the related sort of expenses. So it needs money, but it doesn't teach you anything at all about money. And I think that's a biggest sort of thing that is missing. So we need to give people, especially young students, an idea of how things work. You have to, there's an input and there's an output, and there are assets and there are liabilities, and then how do you integrate your assets and liabilities to make a successful sort of lifestyle. So this, and then things like mental health are completely missing. There's no information about, although there are certain time management tools, a timetable and things like that are sort of used, but essentially students are not given any deep knowledge and understanding of how time works, and how to manage your time, and how to sort of value your time. And also I think many other things are missing, but I just wanted to give some of these examples there. And in a lot of cultures, schools or college or university education pushes people to in debt. They have to take loans to go to college or universities. So I think that's sort of an absurd idea, and you can do without that, and you have enough time to develop any particular skill, become an expert in any field, and then you can sort of experiment with scaling things up if you wanted to get a loan or something like that. And then school also punishes you for failure. Failure is the biggest teacher that there is in the world, that teaches you the hard, tough lessons that you need to learn to become confident and better and grow. And it is punished in the schools. Failure is seen as something not acceptable, whereas the failure, if you wanted schools to be an experimental ground, if you wanted students to be free at expressing themselves and trying things, being creative, then you would encourage them to fail, rather than punishing them for failure. So that's another mismatch. And then also, for example, in terms of how competition competition can also be used to encourage people to do better, but unfortunately the competition is used to punish people again who lose or who fail, and only reward success, people who succeed. Whereas I think participation should be the key. Participation should be rewarded more than success. Obviously, success also needs to be acknowledged, and failure also needs to be acknowledged and learned from. Success also needs to be acknowledged and enjoyed and learned from. But participation is the key. Participation really needs to be encouraged and rewarded much more than success. And in the real world, nothing works without cooperation. Nothing works without collaboration. So instead of having exams or ideas that sort of discourage students from helping each other, we should have ways and means and methodologies that help them understand the value of cooperation and collaboration, and do that actively. And unfortunately, if a student helps somebody else in the class, it is he is punished. The students are punished for helping others, for cooperating with others. So I think that needs to be rethought, and we need to inculcate cooperation. And given the levels of stress, given how the world things are unfolding in the world, there's one crisis after the other. We have just had COVID shut down all around the world. We're hearing about new pandemics, emerging, or there's a food crisis emerging. There's also talk of nuclear war. So things are going to get worse, despite despite all these images of progress and development that we are seeing every day. We know things are not quite right now in the world, and a lot is going on that is scary and uncertain. And so we need to be very vigilant about that on the one hand, and on the other hand, we need to prepare for that future. More importantly, we need to prepare our younger generations to be adaptable, to be resilient, to practice courage, and have confidence, to have the skills like conflict resolution, communication, to practice creativity. So these kinds of things are the currency of the future, and people who develop those and display those and practice those will have a much better chance to thrive than as against those who do not do that. And the educational spaces need to be thought of as experimental grounds, as safe experimental grounds for our younger generations to express themselves, to be creative, to try things, to experiment with whatever ideas they have, so that they develop a deeper understanding of how things work and become more confident and resilient and adaptable and courageous. So I think there's a huge need to reimagine our educational experience. I mean, again, also I think connected to that is the parenting sort of experience. The parents also need to reimagine their role as, they are the primary they have the primary responsibility of educating their children and raising their children and making sure that their children are become responsible and confident and happy people. So that's what I wanted to share today. I mean, there's lots more detail, and hopefully we'll talk about that also in future episodes. And thank you for sharing and subscribing and commenting and appreciating. In case you are looking for help or resources to deal with any stress that you are feeling right now, or plan your career, or design your livelihoods or lifestyles, then please do get in touch. We have several programs that are practice-based, practical, result-oriented programs that are based on time-tested cultural wisdom, as well as cutting-edge scientific discoveries to help you self-design a successful career and life. So the participants who have been through these programs have benefited tremendously, and we're sure we can help you as well. So until next time.